All right guys, welcome back to the channel. Obviously something a little different today. We're gonna work off the whiteboard. And this one's for a very specific and important topic that I think needs addressing, and that is Bitcoin, we'll write it in a sec, and the 18-year cycle. How does this all play out into the later part of the 2020s, considering my view that credit is contracting? And what does that mean for Bitcoin in this later stage? How can Bitcoin have a bull market or a rally and the 18-year cycle still play out with a peak and a trough? So we've got a lot of questions to answer here, and we need some background first, especially if this is your first video. I don't mean to be a doomer on the whole subject. My only job is to make money from the markets, and hopefully you find some value from that as well. On the other side of the equation, for many people, they are just Bitcoin only or Bitcoin long only. So they have a view and they basically get married to it. That's not the purpose of this video. If you're looking for that sort of content, obviously not here. This is about making money through cycles that you can then go and replicate across other markets. So without further ado, make sure you're subscribed, like the content. All the links are in the description. We'll talk about that later. But let's start with the two important things here. One, the 18-year cycle, which is the US real estate and economy, which of course also contains credit and the business cycle. And then the second thing is Bitcoin. So let's see how we go here. We got the 18-year cycle and Bitcoin. First things first, let's get a better pen. We'll go with the 18-year cycle. Really simple. You haven't seen it before? Super simple. 14 years up, roughly 4 years down. Then we start to break it down a little further here. This is your 14 years. There's the top. We've seen this happen for over 200 years in the US, going back to the 1800s. 1800. And then roughly every 18 years, you saw a peak and a trough within the US sales data that goes back to the 1800s. In the UK, you can even find the data further than around 300 years. Very, very similar cycle. So we have the 14 years. Let's put that down here. That's from here to here. All right. Then we break this down. Roughly halfway, there's a mid-cycle slowdown. And this cycle, we saw that roughly around 2018 with a catalyst in 2020. So you can say the peak was somewhere around 2018 for real estate and the economy. There were a few ups and downs. In Australia, we saw it from around 2017, and then there was a dip. And that was around 2020 with the catalyst of obviously the pandemic. From that, prices shot up because they started to print money. So the point of the cycle is to understand the roadmap, the events that occur along the way of your journey as you're driving from one destination to another. You can never really plan for. You don't know what those, if you're going to get a flat tire and then have to get it fixed, is the fixing going to work, or are you going to have to wait a long time to get that tire fixed? I like my analogies here. Okay, so the market's gone up. Then we had a correction in 2022 because, well, there was a ton of money printing, so you had to have a pullback. And in some markets, if we're talking real estate, things topped out roughly around here in 2022. However, for the national averages, things kept going up, but at a slower rate. You stick with me? We got this. So from this low, this was 2010 to roughly 2012. That's the bottom of the cycle that we're currently in. And from there, we saw prices rise slowly and then fast for some markets. Other markets, they took off from 2010 and then slowly rose at the end. Either way, you got to the same destination. How you got there depends on what car you're driving. All right? Very, very simple. 2020 up. Here's the top, around 2026. Now, this is the real estate cycle. Real estate, not the stock market cycle. Stock market can probably keep going. 27, 28, we will see. I don't know yet, that's for stocks. All right? But how much further, we don't know. All right, so we've got this part. This is what it's looked like so far for the 18-year cycle. Where does Bitcoin fit into all of this? Well, we know Bitcoin was invented with the white papers around 2008, 2009, and then it was launched around early 2009, and then it was started trading around 2010 on the internet. exchanges came out, I think roughly 2011-ish, and then we got to that first peak. We're not going to go through each of the Bitcoin booms and busts, but we know there was that roughly 3 years up, 4 years down, 3 years up, 4 years down, 3 years up, 4 years down sort of thing, all the way to where we currently are now in 2025, 2026 for this top here. That one's, now we're talking Bitcoin. So we've seen this play out through it, which has led the market to believe that there is a very consistent 3 years up, which hits a new all-time high and then pulls back. But I don't think that's always going to be the case, because it seems too likely. Whenever something is way too likely, it possibly doesn't happen. But we can't discredit it so far, because the 3 years up, 1 year down has pretty much come true. Well, all the way to now. We haven't got the 1 year down yet, but we'll get to that. So within this cycle, the point we're trying to look at is here is, can Bitcoin be in a bull market in this phase of the cycle, which is now the 4 years down? We haven't got the final confirmations that we've turned down yet. Still several signals that say we've got further to go for the stock markets, for the economy. But is it going to be like the first part, or probably the first 3 quarters? Very unlikely. And that's where I think this look at the cycle comes in. We had a big boom, and then the movement higher has been relatively subdued on the way up compared to where we've come from. So even if we are to go up, maybe we get a bit more of a grinding effect. There's going to be some pops to the top. That's usually the case. We saw it in 2019 into early 2020. It was grinding the stock market, pop, and then back down. So the stock market, let's leave that aside and just look at how Bitcoin fits into this. Throughout this whole thing, credit's been going up and down, up and down. And so there's plenty of comparisons and analysis that we've seen where when the credit cycle is going up, Bitcoin's also going up. As the credit cycle turns down, Bitcoin's turning down, and so on. You start to see that effect over and over again. Now, if we're coming through the end of the move over the peak, but we still have a credit cycle that's turning up, Bitcoin can still go up. And then if it starts to turn down, Bitcoin will potentially go down again. But what does that mean for Bitcoin's bull market? Are we going to see the same 4 year cycle repeat with a all-time high? That is the part that I think confuses a lot of people here. Now, of course, it can happen, and even if it sweeps the top slightly, we'll talk about that later. But let's talk about the worst case scenario now within the framework of the 18-year cycle. Now that you understand the 14 years up, 4 years down, the basing here, and then we rally again, we've got an idea of the credit cycles, we've got an idea of how the stock market played out throughout this cycle, we've got an understanding of the mid-cycle. So it splits it into 7 and 7 years. Bit of messy writing, but you'll get the idea. So within that, what happens to Bitcoin if we begin to find a low here in the cycle? What I think will happen, based on what we can see with the liquidity so far, and this can change because markets are changing, it can change, but if we do get this low, say it's around 40 to 60Ks, the market can still rally into a lower high while you're in the downtrend of an 18-year cycle. It is as simple as that. I guess the video could be 5 seconds on that, but it doesn't make sense if you just say it can go up while this is going down. Well, then you have a lot of questions that are left to the unknown. Why could it still go up if it's going down? What's happening in this part of the cycle to say that it's not going to go to a new all-time high? Well, we've got the downturn here from the stocks, we've got the downturn from the real estate showing its peak. We're starting to see the other signals play out with, say, unemployment, interest rates, liquidity, obviously, which comes into interest rates. So there's a few other factors that come together within this that may still be in an upwards trend. However, the weakness begins to form. So it doesn't mean that Bitcoin will go down in a straight line, and you're just looking at it from more of a macro point of view, where Bitcoin can still rally and may not reach that prior all-time high. Maybe it gets close, maybe it slightly sweeps the top here. And I'm just going to clean this up a little bit here so we've got something to work with. This is Bitcoin and the 4 year cycle overlaid on the 18-year cycle. So here's your 14 years up again and 4 years down. So each of these numbers here are the all-time highs from Bitcoin. 2013, 2017, 2021, 2025. Maybe that one lines up with the top of the 18-year cycle. As we've seen with credit basically contracting, we've seen tech stocks have basically got a significant top in 2025. Some of them have gone to new all-time highs in 2026, but tech stocks are up around there now. And what if we do find a base somewhere around the 40 to 60K? How much is left in the tank to push it to fresh all-time highs again, or at least a significant all-time high, way above the prior all-time high, so that it warrants the risk of investing in a risky asset? Going from 60K to 120K is 100%, but you're never going to catch the full 100% buying at the exact low and selling at the exact top. So you're going to catch a middle piece of it. Maybe you're going to catch 40%, 60%, 70%, but then how much downside is there? Could it go to 30, 20, whatever, right? I don't know. But that's the numbers that the traders are making. The maxis, the Bitcoin maxis, those that are married to Bitcoin, they don't look at these things. They don't look at how much downside there possibly is. They're only thinking this is going to go to $1 million, which is why they usually either win everything, which is a small percentage, or the majority of them lose everything because they don't understand the importance of risk and reward. So if you're looking at the risk to the upside, maybe it goes to 100, right? What's the downside? Could go from 60 down to 40. So you've lost 33% there to possibly make 60 to 100 is just over 50, call it 60%, right? That's not a great risk reward. It's not bad, but it's not great considering the risk overall. So are they going to get involved in it? I don't know. And that could be the problem why we may not see the same sort of volume come back into the market until the price is at a much more, there's a better risk reward left in Bitcoin. So with the trading aside for Bitcoin, this is what I think the top could look like. Maybe it comes up to this 100 or so K. Maybe it goes just slightly beyond the 2025 top, sweeps it and comes back under. Either way, I don't think that's a great win for the Bitcoin cycle. And if it happens within the first 2 years, say of 2026 into 2027 or so, within the first 2 years of the cycle and then starts to come down, that would be called a left translated cycle. So basically a weaker cycle because you've seen a peak already in the first half of the 4 years. Typically you'll see the peak in the second half of the 4 years, which shows the strength of the next move up, right? We're not there just yet, and we could go to a new all-time high in 28, 29. But the point that I'm trying to make is let's look at all the signals that are showing up here. Let's factor in where we are in the 18-year cycle, considering we are potentially moving into this downtrend over the coming 12 to 24 months. And then we can reassess where does Bitcoin's top actually fit into this entire model with the 18-year cycle overlay. That is going to be the key thing, I think, moving forward, because most people aren't interested in learning about the real estate cycle and how this has played out over 200 or so years. I think that could be your edge in the game, and hopefully you don't get caught out in a longer term downtrend. Now, not to be a doomer, I'll give you a doomer scenario, which then leads into an even better bullish scenario. But like with everything, it takes patience. If this happens to be the case, a lower high or a slightly higher high, both in my opinion, relatively weak. You're not getting the same sort of gains. From that point, we head down, and the next cycle most likely would not be a new all-time high. So again, lower high on a macro sense, because we've already seen 1, 2, 3, 4, all of these highs up, maybe 1, 2 down. So this takes us out into the 2030s. That's the doomer scenario for the long-termers. But those guys say they're holding on for 20 or so years anyway. This shouldn't matter. This is just part of the broader 16 to 20 year cycle for Bitcoin, which essentially is your 18 to 20 year cycle at the end of the day. And from there, we start to grow again, putting in these bigger swings. So we start to form a much more macro high low over the 16 to 20 year period, and then start to grow from that point into the 2030s, 2040s, which could then bring us to that $500,000 million Bitcoin. I just think it's going to take a little bit more time than most are willing to hold out for and have the patience for, but that doesn't mean that Bitcoin is broken or that it's dead. It's just a matter of cycles. And when you have the macro cycle contracting in credit, it's just going to take that time for the next movement to happen. And it's not that bad. We've seen huge gains from 2010. Even if it comes back to 10,000, 20,000, 40,000, it's still very, very big gains in those last 16 to 20 years by the time we get to those points. So it's a matter of, are you in it for the long term? Are you willing to look at your reward to risks on each of these plays to the upside? Are you willing to understand the 18-year cycle and the contraction and expansion of credit over long-term cycles? To me, that's the game that I've been playing for the last 20 years. I hope you're interested in it too, to obviously make money from it and not get too wedded to your positions in some of these Bitcoin and altcoins, right? If that's more so like you, subscribe, like the content. I thought I'd do a different video today. I'll be back on the screen in the next videos, but until then, take care, peace out. Cheers, guys.